I tried to learn the Beyonce single ladies dance, which is arguably the like TikTok dance of my generation the other day. It's really hard. That dance is intense, and she's like moving very fast. I literally put the YouTube video to 0.25 speed, and I still couldn't get the arms and the legs together. Welcome to an episode of Liz Bakes For You. If you don't know me by now, my name is Liz, and today I am baking bread. When I thought I was making bread today, I figured it would be bread-sized, but instead it is miniature. Now, this bread is special. It is 4 ingredients. It's keto friendly, and I've never ventured into anything like this in the baking world before. There are at least 5 moments when I'm baking this where I think to myself, this shouldn't work. And yet, there's bread before us. Not the bread you'd think of, but we'll see what happens. Okay, let's get into this recipe. Hey guys, I'm kind of pissed off because my boyfriend jingled his coffee as soon as we started filming without any noise. Iced coffee. This bread has 4 ingredients, which isn't a lot, and none of them are the ingredients you'd normally put in bread. So why don't we take a look at them? The first one is natural peanut butter. I'm using Justin's, which, I don't know. I like their peanut butter cups, so I figured I'd try the peanut butter. Now, natural peanut butter doesn't have the additives that you might have in like your really good peanut butters, like your Peter Pan's, for example. And what that does is it makes sort of a thinner viscosity. I don't know. One of those words is right, maybe. And probably it makes it a lot more difficult to eat on a sandwich because it all squishes out everywhere. But for the sake of this bread, it makes it keto friendly. Now, next ingredient, we have 4 eggs. These are free range, cage-free eggs. And this one is sad chicken life egg. So I only had one of those left. So most of the eggs are going to be happy eggs, as they say. Maybe the most important ingredient, we'll see, is baking soda. 1 teaspoon. I'm curious about baking soda. I'm curious if I even read that correctly, which I think I did. Baking soda only reacts when there's an acidic element to whatever you're making. And to my knowledge, there is no acid in eggs or peanut butter. Usually you'd have to add like an apple cider vinegar or a buttermilk or something with acid to get this to react and do anything, but we'll see. And lastly, we have what appears to be chocolate chips. Don't be fooled. These are stevia sweetened Lily's chocolate chips. I've used these one time and I didn't like them. However, I haven't actually tried the chocolate chip on its own, so I waited for you guys to try it. It actually tastes pretty good. They taste like normal chocolate chip. The weird thing about stevia I always find is that it feels cooling. Like it feels like it's cold in my mouth. There are these cookies called high key cookies that are like stevia sweetened too, and they taste very cool in your mouth, which is such a weird sensation. What is that? Why is it cool like that? Okay. So those are our ingredients. Peanut butter, eggs, baking soda, fake chocolate chips. Now, let's combine them. First things first, we're gonna crack these eggs. So I always like to crack them on a flat surface. I think I learned that from Ina Garten, where you don't want to crack them on the side of the bowl because you'll create more pieces. On a flat surface, you just create a nice little dent, and then you crack it. If you ever are curious if the free range eggs are worth it, they even look happier. I just feel like, you know, I do want the chickens to be happy, which is why I originally started buying cage-free eggs. I read this whole book on like this family who started a cage-free chicken egg farm, and it seemed very, it was obviously like their real story. So it was very real, but it also seemed a little bit like fairy tale like you're like, oh, we ran away and started a chicken farm in Wisconsin, and all of our chickens are happy. Next, into the eggs, we're going to add the baking soda. This feels as weird as putting water into a pie. I've never done this before in my life. And then we're supposed to whip this to stiff peaks. Again, I don't know how to do this because usually if you're whipping something to stiff peaks, it's egg whites. It's not yolks. Yolks can be whipped, but they can't be whipped like whites can. That's why you don't like get an egg yolk in a meringue, because it won't whip the way you want it to. Every single time I make one of these recipes, I just think to myself, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, it says. The water pie did become a pie, so. Why am I doing this with a hand mixer? The recipe said hand mixer. This is a little foamy. Let's see how much foamier we can get it. I have realized that I am a bit of a hater.
Yeah, you are.
Like when something seems weird, I'm like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be dumb. I'm trying really hard not to be a hater though, because I don't like love that. I don't like to identify as a hater. I don't think anybody does. The recipe didn't say how long to do this for either, so. It said foamy or stiff peaks, which are entirely different things. Like those are not the same. Because this is foamy, but this isn't gonna hold a stiff peak. Like, you're pretty good at making coffee. This seems foamy to me. So I'm going to proceed. Next, we're going to add our natural peanut butter. It's 3/4 of a cup. There's always a plop moment. And now I'm supposed to mix this. It says mix in the peanut butter. I just feel like this recipe was by someone who like went in their kitchen one day and they're like, okay, it can't have this, this, this. What does that leave? It leaves these 4 things. And they're like, all right, let's just see what happens. All right, it's getting more appetizing. Keep in mind, there's no sugar in this recipe. I mean, I guess there's sugar in peanuts to a certain extent. This is supposed to be cookie dough bread, so I think it's supposed to taste like chocolate chip cookie dough, but the main ingredient is peanut butter. Okay, now we're adding 1/4 cup of these, which is probably about half of this. And it's done. Now we have to bake it. The recipe called for 3.5 by 5-inch loaf pans. I don't have one of those as far as like a regular loaf pan goes. I just have these metal, like these disposable metal ones. Now, a funny story about these is they came in like a 5-pack, and on my very first trip for my blog, Orlandough, where I traveled the country and ate donuts, the first trip I went on to try donuts, I didn't want to spend any money, so I hit up a bunch of people in cities that I was going to stay with them. So I wanted to bake them something to bring with me, but I also was flying, I think, where you can only bring the backpack, so I was like, I'll make mini loaves of banana bread, and then it really got massively messed up for whatever reason. I didn't bake it very well, and then I gave up, and I've just had these for 2 years. No, 2 years.
2 years. 5 years?
5 years. I've had them for 5.5 years. There was another time I used these to try and bake something for someone when I was going to visit them in Connecticut. Also didn't work out well. That was a person who didn't like berries. And I also made him blackberry cheesecake brownies, which were delicious. Blackberry cheesecake pancakes are one of the most delicious combinations of things. And that's when I found out he didn't like berries. I don't know how full I'm supposed to make this. What do you think about that? Okay, we're gonna put the rest in this one. I thought I was supposed to make one of these, but whenever I saw that the ingredients sitting out, I was like, it's definitely gonna make more than 1 loaf pan worth, unless I was supposed to really fill that. I don't know. That's the problem, is I have no idea what this is going to do in the oven. Okay, so to put some more chocolate chips on top to fool people into thinking this is good. Okay, well, let's hope something magical happens in the oven. 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. And then it should be a loaf of cookie dough bread.
At least our oven's not full of oil this time. Things are happening.
Things are happening. Interesting, huh? So that was the one with a little less in it. This one's got a little more in it. First thoughts. Looks very different than I anticipated when I put it in the oven. As you can see, it puffed up a good amount, which obviously is from the egg, right? Let's try this one. I'll pull this one out. So it'll be easy. Ooh, this little bit is hot. Ah, how'd those get down there? Moment of truth. Will this look like bread on the inside? I'll tell you what, when I looked at the photo of this on the blog post, I thought it was a full-size loaf, but it's a little tiny baby loaf. Anybody for a sandwich? Oh no, this was not done. I need to throw this one back in the oven. It's not done.
Okay.
Can I throw this one back in the oven? What do we think? I don't know why I shoved this one back in the oven. I put both of them back in the oven because clearly it was not done. And this one, which I put back in the oven, but I already sliced. I already sliced it, but I shoved it back in there. So we're gonna, yeah, still not done. Oh well. I didn't have a lot of hope for this one getting done. This one's done. Okay. But all the chocolate chips went to the center of this one, which was very, very weird. Hey, you want to get a close-up of what it looks like?
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to take photos of this. The only thing left to do at this point is to try it. Even though it is still kind of hot. Most things are better when they're hot, aren't they? Ow.
This is 4th of July, people.
It's so like bubbly. Like it's literally like if you put bubbles in your mouth like foam, right? It's like foamy. I would say that the batter when you try it versus when it's baked, nothing magical is happening. It is tasting exactly the way you think it would. The texture is probably the more interesting thing. It is similar to like a quick bread. I mean, I guess you would call this cookie dough bread. It isn't though. First of all, bread to me implies like a raised dough. But I guess banana bread isn't that. But it really reminds me a lot of my reaction to the low-fat cookies. Except, obviously the low-fat cookies were like fake healthy. Like they weren't good for you at all. They had a ton of sugar in them. And they I don't know, they weren't good for you. And the implication of low-fat was that these are like a diet cookie, the ones that I made. And when I ate them, I thought to myself, what was weird about that one is the batter tasted good. But then when I ate the cookie, when it was done, it was as though all of the sugar wasn't really there anymore. Like it didn't taste as sweet anymore. Whereas This didn't have any sugar in it. It has like the stevia, obviously, and the chocolate chips, which are providing a good amount of sweetness. But I keep eating it, wanting it to taste different. I think that's the similarity, is I kept eating those cookies that day, hoping they would taste different. If I eat all of this, it's the same as eating 4 eggs. Like a half cup of chocolate chips, even though they're fake chocolate chips, and then a 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. I'll probably eat this.
Yeah, we're not trashing it.
Well, we trashed the cookies and the water pie. The last 2 weird recipes were like tried on camera, photographs were taken, and then they were tossed because we were not going to eat them. But this I think we'll actually eat. And that kind of annoys me because I'm a hater. Thank you guys for joining me today for our weird recipe. I think that it's getting better, the weird recipes. This keto bread is more bready and more tasty than I was anticipating overall. The name cookie dough bread, however, I think is a bit of a misnomer. This tastes exactly like what goes into it. It tastes like peanut butter and eggs that were baked into some weird version of a souffle with chocolate chips throughout them. And somehow pretty addicting to eat, all those things combined. So if you want to check out some of the other episodes I was talking about, we have water pie from season 2 and Mrs. Field's low-fat chocolate cookies in season 1. Be sure to check out my channel and check out those videos if you enjoyed this one. Subscribe to my channel if you are enjoying this content, and please like this video if you're into keto bread, which I guess I'm now into keto bread. As always, follow me on Instagram at Orlandough, and I'll be back next week with one of the best episodes of the season, usually the donut episode. Ready? Okay. Welcome to an episode of Liz Bakes For You. If you don't know me by now, my name is Liz. Oh, I hit my microphone. This gives me hope for like a keto donut. I don't know how to get the texture right, but maybe I can do like